Hi, Dr. Jessie here, and we're going to be talking about metabolism, but especially tonight, one of my favorite parts of metabolism, the thyroid gland. So, what you don't know about me, a couple of things. First of all and foremost, I'm a naturopathic physician. I've been in private practice for 40 years, and I was diagnosed with menopause before I got into the training to be a naturopath. I got in through the back door. I was a very sick patient. And one of my issues was I had a complete hormonal metabolic breakdown. It was so bad. I had fainting spells. I was diagnosed with full-blown menopause at the age of 23. And they told me I'd been in menopause for 4 years. So this was not fun for me. I had a lot of other symptoms, but it really got me to the place of desperation because what I found out was the medical model had no real answers. In other words, they were happy to put me on hormones for life, but they had no idea how to reverse the menopause. And I felt very confident that I was supposed to be a mother. Spoiler alert, I am a mother, even though I was in full-blown menopause for 4 years, 19 through 23. At the age of 24 and a little bit, I met my mentor in clinical nutrition, herbal medicine, and homeopathy, Dr. Teresa Dale, who now runs the California College of Natural Medicine. And she took my case and reversed all of my things. I had osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, full-blown menopause. My medical doctors wanted to send me to a psychiatrist so I could learn how to live with my conditions, which didn't really suit me since I really felt from the age of about 5 or 6 that I was supposed to be a mom. Intuitively, that's what I felt. I just felt that intuitively. So this didn't sit well. And then they said that, like, just you got to learn how to live with this. Then I met my mentor, Teresa Dale, and she said, well, we can reverse all of this. So I am definitely qualified to talk about metabolism, hormones, and the glands that excrete the hormones. So I do feel like our medical model has kept us a lot in the dark about our endocrine system. Not for nothing, they don't know a lot about the endocrine system, and we're just going to see that tonight. So maybe you feel like your metabolism isn't running well. So let's just start by defining metabolism. Metabolism is defined as what we do with food to translate that into energy and waste byproducts. So metabolism is basically taking in what we eat and transforming it into energy that we can use for our functions, all the way down to cellular functions, mitochondrial functions, but also to be able to expel it as waste. So all of that would come into the guise of metabolic function. So as we talk about that, and as we go forward tonight, I'm going to give you a lot of my side ideas, things that are not related to the medical model, because in my experience, the medical model is really horrible at diagnosing what I would call, for legal and safety purposes, subclinical thyroid problems. And let's just talk about that for a second. So subclinical thyroid problems are basically where you can't actually flunk a blood test, but you have the textbook symptoms of a low thyroid. And that's what we're going to be focusing on tonight, is basically low thyroid, how that contributes to weight gain and or inability to lose weight, and how that coupled with a higher level of cortisol hormone is a real setup for failure of thyroid function. So let me just go ahead and look at the slide that we're supposed to be looking at. Hold on one sec. Here we go. And I have to do a quick screen share. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So we're going to be talking about your thyroid and your metabolism. And again, this is all really basic stuff that I feel should be taught in all the endocrine classes. But on the other hand, no, not really, not really at all. So bottom line is low thyroid or hypothyroidism. That's the medical term. I'm going to tend to stay away from medical terminology and really just talk about this from a layperson's perspective. Low thyroid, underfunctioning, down-regulating. This thyroid gland is feeling like it can't do its job. This is what we're talking about. And in medicine, they call that hypothyroid. It's a condition where the thyroid gland is underworking, it doesn't produce enough thyroid hormones, and guess what? It's the most common form of threat of stress for the thyroid. And I see this like 100% of the time with both men and women in my practice. We're going to talk about that and the reason why that is a little bit more, but I just need everyone to hear low thyroid, hypothyroidism is very common and also undiagnosed a lot because blood tests are not going to show what you need to see. And maybe if you're watching this, and you might want to put it in the chat, you have some of these symptoms, such as fatigue or weight gain or cold intolerance, depression. Depression is definitely associated with low thyroid. I had low thyroid for 4 years. For 4 years, I went to my medical doctors and said, I believe without a question, my thyroid's low. And they kept saying, but Jessie, your blood tests are normal. This is what might be happening to you or someone that you know and love. Your blood test can be normal and your thyroid can be completely wonky. Cold intolerance, depression, dry skin, hair falling out, baldness, reproductive hormone imbalances, irregular periods, PMS, infertility, premature menopause, on and on and on. So, I mean, the reality is most of us have some of these, and the causes are, according to science, well established, according to the AMA or the American Medical Model, more mysteriously and mostly blamed on genetics. It's really not about genetics, though. Here's the deal. Causes can be an autoimmune disease such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Well, I healed myself of that 100%. So that one to me is not a bona fide cause. It's more like what gets diagnosed along the way, but it's not the cause. We're going to talk about the cause in a little minute. Thyroid surgeries, and also a lot of radiation to the body. That will definitely hurt the thyroid. The thyroid stores radiation. So the first point of filtration for the radiation will be the thyroid gland. Also, iodine deficiencies. Everyone thinks in America that if you have iodized salt, you're getting plenty of iodine. Guess what? And this is crazy, but it's true. It's the wrong form of iodine. In other words, the iodine that you're getting isn't sufficient to make the thyroid healthy and whole. It's just enough to prevent most goiters. Isn't that a little weird? It's a little weird. However, stick with me. We're going to get into solutions. So, iodine deficiency is also the leading cause of breast cancer in women. So we need to be paying attention to this stuff because it's all interrelated. Certain medications will also cause the thyroid to go low. And here's the big one, and this is huge, elevated cortisol. Cortisol is also known as the stress hormone, but it's also known as the belly fat hormone. And that can interfere with thyroid function like crazy. The higher your cortisol goes, the lower your thyroid has to go because it knows, your thyroid knows things. And it knows that if it doesn't downregulate and kind of jump out of its game, if cortisol's super high, adrenaline is like running uber high, the thyroid will go hyperthyroid if it doesn't drop down. And hyperthyroidism is almost impossible to heal naturally. Once you have hyperthyroidism, they usually nuke it or surgically remove it because it can't stop regulating itself. And that's tragic. So if you have any kind of symptom that relates to puffy, fluffy, depression, feeling like you're just not quite right energetically, you're going to need to watch this presentation. So, one of the things we can do is adjust our diet because there are certain things in the diet that will really help the thyroid. And a couple of those are foods rich in iodine, And if you know me, you know I'm a huge fan of seaweed capsules. Seaweed doesn't always taste great, but in concentrated capsules, it is a whole food iodine source. In other words, the body, what I learned from my mentor, Teresa Dale, and other mentors after her, the body wants food forms of everything because that's how we evolved. We did not evolve with extracts and tinctures and supplements on trees or on flower tips. We evolved with whole foods. So we need whole food sources. Seaweed, one of the best sources of iodine on the planet, and people scorn on it. I mean, honestly, they do. Even some of the functional medical doctors scorn it, but it's really great. 1 to 2 capsules a day, early in the day, because the thyroid opens up for its food intake early. Between 5 and 9 is when the thyroid wants to be fed. I've learned this clinically, but it's also in the medical journals. And so we want foods rich in iodine. So definitely if you don't have a lot of seafood in your diet, a lot of fish, in other words, you don't live on the ocean, you have to supplement with seaweed. In addition, things like selenium, which can be found in things like Brazil nuts, sunflower seeds, certain thyroid natural supplements. Also, zinc. Zinc is huge for the thyroid. And I would also mention here, it's not on the slide, magnesium, huge for the thyroid. So what we need to do is really look at how can we help ourselves from home help our thyroid? And the answer is very simple. There are certain herbs that are known to do this. One of them is ashwagandha. And as we get into solutions tonight, we'll be talking more about a certain sleep product that has ashwagandha in it. Ashwagandha supports thyroid function. It also supports the management of cortisol, aka the stress hormone. So we also know that Google, which is an Ayurvedic herb, may promote thyroid activity. In my clinical experience, it absolutely does. Google and ashwagandha together definitely help the thyroid. Vitamin D, which now science says is not even a vitamin, it is actually a hormone, but it really helps all of the endocrine glands, including the thyroid. So let's talk about lifestyle and stress management because this is huge when it comes to helping from home how to manage a thyroid problem. And maybe both your parents had low thyroid, which means you're genetically set up for that. It's okay. There are things you can do from home. Things like yoga, meditation, Pilates, stretching, anything where you get on the mat, on the floor, and you move and you stretch and you breathe. In addition to that, 100% of the science says adequate sleep. And we're going to define adequate sleep as 8 to 10 hours a night. And a lot of adults think that 6 to 7 hours is adequate. But for every hour that you're shortchanging yourself, you are robbing your metabolism. There is a reset valve that needs to happen, so to speak, and it happens when the body's in the deepest sleeps, which happens late in the wee hours of the morning. So you need those hours. You really need that. Exercise, huge for the thyroid. The thyroid, when it's low, you feel like you just can't do anything. You feel like you're lethargic. I used to feel like a beached whale, honestly. I was only 35 pounds overweight. It didn't matter. It just felt so heavy. That's the low thyroid. So, low impact, walking, walking with maybe some light, heavy hand weight, something where you're just doing a little bit more than an average walk, swimming, regular movement. You want to keep moving. The body does the best metabolically when there's lots of movement. Humans evolved with a lot of movement. Women evolved, according to science, women evolved with 18 miles of walking a week. Men evolved with 25 miles of walking a week. So obviously, we evolved with these glands getting certain behaviors, and that's what we're missing. So regular movement and exposure to sunlight. That's actually really, really helpful while exercising. And then this one blew my mind. This is crazy, but it's true. There are actually compounds in certain vegetables that we love to eat, and they disrupt the thyroid. They literally suppress the thyroid gland. And those are called goitrogens, and they're found in all cruciferous vegetables. Cruciferous vegetables are broccoli, cauliflower, kale. There's a whole slew of them. And of course, those are also high in antioxidants and very anti-cancer. However, they are uber thyroid suppressing when eaten in high amounts. So you really have to moderate and incorporate other vegetables if you're eating vegetables like asparagus, other vegetables. So if you're just going into that broccoli family a lot, you are actually suppressing thyroid function. And then this one also is very important science. It's newer science, but here it is. Avoid fluoride, which is in tap water. Avoid fluoride at the dentist. First point of filtration for the fluoride is your thyroid gland. And chlorine, because both fluoride and chlorine compete with the iodine that your thyroid needs to make the mother hormone. So let me say that again. Your thyroid needs iodine to make the mother hormone. Without the mother hormone, the whole rest of your metabolism is basically messed up, wonky, and lethargic and can't get the job done. And that sets you up for immune deficiencies. So the other thing we can do is reduce our exposure to plastics. BPA exposure, which is found in plastics, and don't ever boil your food in a bag and don't microwave your food in a bag. Don't drink out of plastic bottles. And if you have to, whatever you do, don't let them get hot in the car because the heat plus the plastics will leach the BPA even further into your body. Now, there are definitely some supportive therapies we can do for the thyroid, which will enhance our metabolic abilities. Again, the metabolism is your ability to take the food or the fuel, convert it into energy, and have waste byproducts kicked out. That's your metabolism. So, acupuncture, amazing for stuck metabolism stuff. It'll enhance everything. They're amazing at what they do. I'm a big fan. Massage therapy, just to get the stress down, to dissipate how your body is holding on to things, that can be very helpful. Essential oils can be helpful. Things like lavender to help you let go. And then hemp and CBD products are found out in science to support all endocrine functions. So we're going to drill down on that a little bit more because this is huge. It means that you can take care of your thyroid gland and your cortisol hormone right from home. And I want you to meet your endocannabinoid system or your ECS. Your ECS was discovered in the early 1990s by science, and they found out that all mammals have an ECS or an endocannabinoid system. I'm just going to call it ECS from here on in. But the ECS is a receptor site system, meaning that it can only receive certain things, and science found out in the early 1990s that the certain things it could receive were cannabinoids from the hemp plant. So science has identified 120 different cannabinoids that help balance the ECS, and they're all from hemp. Isn't that shocking? Isn't that cool? Now, here's what you want to understand. Hemp is not marijuana. Marijuana is a completely different plant. They're two different plants. They're in the same species, just like red delicious apples are in the same species called apple as a Granny Smith apple. Okay, perfect. Those are two different apples, different tastes, different colors, different everything. Same thing, marijuana, hemp. Hemp flower extracts have been safely used in natural medicine for hundreds, if not thousands of years. However, when Rockefeller gave his grant to start the AMA in the early 1900s, which is the American Medical Association, he got the government to outlaw all marijuana and all hemp. It was used in lots of medicine. So it turns out that our ECS needs the CBDs. It needs it to function properly. Science shows that your ECS is the gateway system to all other systems. It's the mind-body link, and humans only make a couple of CBDs all unto ourselves. So the good news is we do make some. The bad news is with higher levels of stress in the modern world, with electric grids and everything, we don't have enough and we need to supplement. And that's why we're here tonight to talk. Because your ECS needs CBD to function properly. That's huge. And let's talk about, I'm going to go ahead and stop this one and go to a different, slightly different program here because we're going to talk about how to get that on track. Oops, I think I did that wrong. Just try this again. I think I'm supposed to screen. Yes, first I screen share. All right. So we talked about high cortisol and how high cortisol will downregulate the thyroid, and how in my clinical practice, the most undiagnosed problem is a low thyroid. It's ridiculously undiagnosed, but the hidden reason is this cortisol issue. So we need to get the cortisol down, but how do we do it? Well, there's a lot of ways. Mindfulness, meditation. That just makes sense. I personally found that I could not do meditation because my mind was too busy. It was always trying to go somewhere and solve something. So I found that if I did a breathing meditation where I was led through breathing exercises, that worked for me. So maybe for you, you want to start with a breathing meditation and just being more mindful, slowing it down, thinking about what you're doing. Remember, the thyroid loves regular exercise, and so do the adrenal glands, which are responsible for shooting out all that cortisol. So you want regular physical activity, but perhaps avoid overtraining. Maybe not training for that marathon if you have the signs of a low thyroid and a high cortisol and your blood tests look great. This is a big deal. Your blood tests look great, but this is where you're stuck. Balanced diet. You've got to get off the sugar and the carbs. There are no essential carbohydrates. This has been proven by science. None. There are zero essential carbohydrates. We need fats and we need proteins. We need pure water and we need healthy salts, not commercial salts, but sea salt. That's what we need. Adequate sleep, we've got to get 7 to 9 hours. If you don't get 9 most nights, go for the weekend, go for time, set your clock, take sleep vacations if you know you're under rested. You cannot, this is one you just can't get away with. If you think you're getting enough sleep and you're sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night, you are shortening your lifespan because those are signs of high cortisol. So take a break and even schedule a sleep vacation. And then remember social connections, hugs, talking to your best friends, being in people circles where you can let your hair down, where you can be yourself, where you can, you know, spend time with your loved ones who have, great ideas for you about maybe how you might de-stress. And then CBD. Now, I have liaison with a company that is the number one in the US. In fact, the US Roundtable Hemp Agency is talking to our company because of how they're doing CBDs and incorporating that with other therapeutics. So we can really help the thyroid. We can really help that cortisol with CBD because we know that higher cortisol levels increase the cravings for sugar. And all thyroid patients will have an increased craving for sugar. There's no question. That's the science, not my opinion, but it was definitely my experience. And CBD interacts with the body's endocannabinoid system. And it really helps the endocrine glands by reducing stress, helping the cortisol get managed, lowering the cortisol, and CBD can really help anxiety. It can improve all metabolic functions, especially sleep. And as soon as the cortisol goes into regulation state, the thyroid improves. So that's really huge. If you think about it, a few little things you can do from home to help your endocannabinoid system regulate means that your endocrine system will regulate. So here's your endocannabinoid system. It's a brand new system. Science only discovered it in the 1990s and is not taught in most med schools. But over here on the right, you'll see all these dots. And these dots distinctively correlate with your endocrine glands. Look at the neck. Your thyroid gland is located right where those blackened dots are in the neck because those are receptor sites for your ECS all around and inside your thyroid. In other words, we evolved eating the meat of animals that ate hemp. Therefore, they were getting lots of cannabinoids, and we would eat that and fulfill our system. Okay, that's great because apparently when we fulfill that system, a lot of balancing occurs and things like mood and sleep and appetite and pain perception and immune responses all go up. So think about your ECS like a orchestra of it's conducting a whole orchestra like the conductor. And it wants to make sure that all of the different parts of the orchestra, which would be your systems and your organs, are working together in perfect harmony, just like a conductor would do in an orchestra. So these dots over here on the right, these receptors are all over and inside your body, and stress, poor diet, lack of exercise, and environmental toxins deplete our bodies of the cannabinoids that we naturally make on our own, and therefore we become deficient. And when this happens, it leads to everything from anxiousness, sleep problems, hormonal dysregulation, thyroid starts downregulating, cortisol goes up, and we're in a mess. That's where we have the weight gain, the night sweats, etc. And as I mentioned, it's only taught in about 15% of the medical schools. That's a problem we need to change. However, for you right now, think about your ECS as like a series of parking spaces. If these parking spaces are empty or depleted, you're going to have symptoms, period. That's it. End of conversation. These systems that organize all your well-being are going to be out of whack. So if a parking space is depleted, you might have more joint pain. Another parking space depleted, you might have headaches, you might have hormonal disturbances. That can be huge for people. When the thyroid's low, a lot of people get headaches. A lot of people's joints start to inflame. Okay, but here's what you also need to know. Not all CBD is alike. In fact, there's a lot of nonsense in the way of supplements coming in from China. China knows that cannabinoids, hemps, are grown in soils where they need to detoxify because hemp is known as a moth crop. So you can grow hemp where there's been an oil spill or a radiation problem, and the hemp will suck up all the bad stuff and rejuvenate the soil, which is fabulous. And that's why it exists on the planet, I'm sure. However, in China, they'll actually harvest that hemp and send it to us in the way of supplements and products that you can ingest. That is not okay. So the company that I've affiliated with, Green Compass, says, well, we're going to have complete control of everything from seed to bottle, 100%. They do. They own the land. It's USDA organic. They use hemp flower extracts only because there is no actual therapy in the stems and the roots. It's really the flowers where the medicine lives. And you have to have clean soil to get the USDA organic certification. But we take it one step further because it's all about the science. This company is ripping on the science, and here it is. We have what we call a CA, or a certificate of analysis. That means that you can take your bottle of your hemp product and you can scan it on your smartphone, and it will give you a drop-down menu showing you all the terpenes, all the everything. Absolutely amazing. And we have both nano jellies and tinctures. Our tinctures are in organic coconut oil. which is also very good for you, very antiseptic, antifungal. We use CO2 extraction. The Chinese companies mostly use butane, which is literally lighter fluid, instead of using a healthy way of extracting it because it's cheaper and our FDA is allowing that stuff to come in. It's insane. So, good friend of mine, Stacy here, and you can see this is a great testimony because over here on the left, she looks pretty healthy, except she's definitely a little too puffy and fluffy. She had a desk job. She was raising two teenagers. One thing led to another, under exercising, more emotional stress. You know, when you're raising teenagers, it's not all negative stress. Sometimes it's the positive stress. Oh, all the activities and the extra sports and the extracurriculars, and now you're driving constantly and now applying to college and so on. So for Stacy, definitely a little overeating, a little emotional eating. She got on the products and she noticed pretty quickly that she started to feel calmer and more serene, better balance, better focus, and she wasn't doing the emotional eating. And then when she added the collagen, she was blown away by how the joint pain, her knee pain, now she wanted to exercise. She really felt like she could exercise. And by golly, she did exercise. And look at her over here on the right. And you can definitely see she made a huge improvement. And this was 60 pounds later. So we don't advertise these as weight loss products. We don't make those claims because it's such an indirect way of getting the obvious done. Changing how you feel, changing the nervous system, changing the glands, changing your thyroid, your cortisol, your adrenals over time. And then all of a sudden you see my behaviors are changing. We know that to have a healthy metabolism, we're going to have to change some behaviors. But did we know that it could be as simple as taking a great CBD product line? Now, here's what we've discovered. The science says in order to get the biggest bang out of taking a CBD product line, you've got to take the two together, CBD and collagen. Why? Because adults in America are deficient in collagen. You start losing collagen by the age of 25. By the age of 45, you've lost an enormous amount of collagen, and people look like it. That's where the hair's graying or balding. That's where the skin is sagging, and you're just looking like you're losing elasticity. That's because you don't have enough collagen. But however, when you combine collagen and CBD, OMG, huge. So we have a secret ingredient in our collagen. It's called CBG. And just take a moment and look at what happens when you combine CBD, again, that's cannabinoid, with a specific cannabinoid called CBG. So you get everything in all the blues. You get the left, you get the middle, you get the right. This is huge. So when you have CBG coming into your system, it helps a whole lot of things reduce inflammation, basically throughout the entire body. That's going to help you with everything from anxiety to inhibiting any tumor growth, calming the nervous system. You can use this every single day. It's very anti-inflammatory. The CBG also helps promote focus. It's a little energizing. It reduces ADHD symptoms, according to science, helps bladder function. I noticed a definite little bounce in my step when I got on the collagen with CBG. And then again, you have in the middle all of these other goodies from the combination: antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, helping the stress response. This is huge when it comes to thyroid and metabolism. It's all about stress response and having the body do a great job managing that. And then over here on the left with CBD, it's everything from nausea relief for people in chemo to anti-epileptic to promoting bone health, alleviates depression, encourages deep sleep. One of the most important things that my clients have noticed on good quality CBD is better sleep. It's huge. It also inhibits the appetite. It supports the immune system. So we had a lot to be thankful for. And now with this company, there's two ways to try this. One is taking a nano jelly. The nano jellies are specifically and scientifically designed to give you a 24-hour sustained released CBD benefit. We also have the tinctures, which are available in different potencies, 500 milligrams, 750 to 1,000 milligram, all in organic coconut oil. These you can take throughout the day to keep enhancing your CBD experience. Now, the big difference is the CBD tinctures will last for 8 hours, where the nano jellies will last for 24 hours. Now, this is again something that when you take every day really supports how your body responds to the stress, supports the deeper sleep, helps your body get into that balancing act. Remember, science says when the endocannabinoid system or ECS is balancing, every other system gets balanced. That's huge. Now, our collagen is very distinct and very special, and I'm a huge fan because it does a lot of healing in the body really fast. I've seen cases where things like eczema in a very short period of time started to improve. And we're talking whole body eczema, not just a few patches here or there. Things like looking older completely stopping and that face looking younger. So we're seeing a lot of huge results. If you know you have leaky gut syndrome or gut disruptions, the collagen is huge on fixing the gut, but it's also major for bone health, teeth health, eye health, joint health, hair, skin, and nail health. Also, it's hydrolyzed. A lot of the collagens out there, you're not going to absorb. They're just not hydrolyzed. You can't break it down. Ours is hydrolyzed, so you really get what you need. And the people that are on this product over time, it's visible. They're getting what they need. It's very cool, very exciting. We also put olive leaf extract in there, which is a potent antioxidant, fights a lot of different issues for the body. 73 trace minerals and vitamin E, vitamin C, and biotin, all of which are known to enhance the skin, but everything down to your veins are being supported by this product. It's pesticide, gluten, and dairy free. And again, the secret sauce is that CBG, that one particular cannabinoid that just does so much in the body. So you might have already guessed this, but there is definitely an entourage effect. When you start combining the CBD with the CBGs and you start to get that whole synergistic effect, that's occurring through the interaction of the cannabinoids, the terpenes, and the flavonoids. And again, we don't want you to have to learn all this. We just want you to know the science is very, very clear. There's tons of white paper out on this now. There's actually nurse practitioner degrees in CBD medicine. Functional doctors are getting into it, but it's slow. Things take a long time to matriculate into the medical model. In the meantime, we just want you to know that we've got some add-ons from what we've said tonight that'll really, really help you get to the next level. Terpenes and flavonoids, why would they matter to you? Because they're actually therapies at a cellular level. They have all kinds of properties like anti-cancer, antiviral, anti-inflammatory, neuroprotective, cardioprotective, all the colors that you see in vibrant plants, those are different phytonutrients and flavonoids. So we do have some boosting products. We've got the CBD, we've got the collagen, but we also have a sleep boost product. This is again for people that are coming down off that high stress, high adrenaline, high cortisol, low thyroid. You know you haven't been sleeping enough, maybe for decades, raising children, having a career. Okay, but it's time to start. You can make up for this. You really can, and it's going to make a big difference. So we have the drops, organic sleep boost, they go under the tongue, and the metabolism drops. Those go by day, the sleep boost goes by night. I like the sleep boost when I'm traveling and I wake up at 4 a.m. in a hotel room with the wall unit air conditioner blasting and wondering what city am I in? Where am I? I love the sleep boost because I'll take a half a dropper, hold that under my tongue for a minute, and just lie back down. By the time I'm falling asleep, I'm swallowing it, it's working. Metabolism, I take a half a dropper once a day, and it just kind of revs up the system, helps you move into that fat burning. that we all love so much. And then we also have something called the digestive jellies. These you chew once a day, so they last for 24 hours, and they really help the gut start to balance. So if you know you have a lot of gut issues, maybe you have IBS, colitis, different things going on with the gut, you probably won't just want to get on a good CBD and the collagen, which are majorly gut healing. You'll also want the digestive jellies, at least for a few months, to get all that bloat and all of that excess toxicity under control, because that's what this product will do for you. So, we also have, for those of you that know you're losing a lot of sleep, maybe you fall asleep great, but wake up at 3 a.m. like clockwork. You need our sleep jellies as the add-on. These are amazing. They're priced very affordably. One of these chewed up about 30 minutes before bed, and it's going to take you very, very deep. I love this product. It really helps me a lot. I don't take it every night, but if I know I'm traveling or if I've been a little revved up at night, I'll take one of these about a half an hour before I brush my teeth and go to bed. And man, do they work. You can combine those with the sleep boost and really start to clock those hours. The sleep jellies have an infusion. So again, this is a longer acting product, but it has an infusion of ashwagandha, which regulates cortisol and enhances thyroid function. It has passion flower and lemon balm, all of which help the nervous system let go and down regulate and start making it easy to go into that deep delta sleep. So very, very positive product. I'm very excited about that. And again, you might just want the digestive jellies. You might want the sleep jellies and the digestive jellies. But I think right now the main thing to focus on is you've got to supplement your ECS. If you're not putting extra hemp flower extract that's clean, that's organic, that's, top of the charts. Even the government is coming to our company to say, we want to know how you're doing this. What should we be regulating? What should be a no? What should be a yes? So if you want the things that are going to work and you want the things that are the best, it's definitely going to be the Green Compass products. So there's a different bunch of ways to get started. One is just to have no involvement. You're just going to try something. That would be a retail customer opportunity. You're going to pay the full price, but you're just going to buy it like you went to Macy's and bought something. Very fine, very cool. We definitely recommend a combination of either the nano jelly or a tincture with the collagen, because that's when you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck. But speaking of the biggest bang for your buck, you also, if you're interested in savings, which I always am, 20% off just for becoming a preferred customer, and you can change that order at any time after the initial order. But in addition to getting 20% off, you also, after the second month of your auto shipment, get free shipping, which these days is a substantial discount and so flexible. You can pause it, cancel it, suspend it, add things, subtract things. And, you know, the main thing that science says about taking CBD products to enhance your well-being is it's about the consistency. This is like joining a gym. When you join the gym, you get the results by showing up and going through the routine, going through the training, right? Well, this is just like that. You can join the gym, but if you don't take the product on a daily basis and be consistent, it's not going to train your system in how to regulate. So, the company knows that, and they give you ongoing rewards for being a preferred customer. You get a share code, and the minute you share it with somebody else and they order, you get a credit with your company, a $10 credit, and they get a $10 discount. And starting in month 4, you're already there at $20 credit to share with yourself on products. So you could actually start discounting your own products or eventually get product for free just because you're sharing this because you cared about other people in your life. So that's really cool. And then my favorite way to share this product line is to get people into a business starter kit. Now, you don't have to be in the business at all. You could just order the starter kit. I recommend you think about this because they're at 50% off or at wholesale. So the rest of the time, If you don't get one of these kits, you're going to be getting 20% off retail. These are 50% off, and they have a variety. They have one called the Hemp Essentials, which is a $383 value, but you're getting it for $179.95. That's huge. They also have what's called the Hemp Lifestyle Collection, which is essentially a $633 value for just under $300. The one that I decided to get was the one that gave me the biggest bang for the buck. That's my nature. And it was $499.95, but it was $1,025 in value for all these products. So this is really, really, really the best way to get started. The CBD industry is exploding. It's exploding because there's hard science behind it. But there's also a lot of mischief there until the government really does hardcore regulation. Don't buy the mischief from China. Make sure you're getting high quality CBD. And also remember that collagen is essential. If you're above the age of 25, collagen is essential. And that industry alone is expected to double in the next 4 years. So thanks for watching. We appreciate you. We want the best for you. You can message me directly or you can send me a quick email at drjessieKeener, Dr. Jessie Keener at gmail.com. I can send you the link for your preferred customer 20% off discount. Thanks again for your time.